Hello, chat, but for real this time. Remember to unmute. Welcome to the finals of the LVO Invitational. Final two. We have Eric Wong on the left there with his Asgard versus Mike DeLuca's Asgard Cabal Dormammu pile.
Pile is a good word. You never know quite what you're going to pull out of the pile.
It's a good roster, but it's also a pile of models.
Yeah. I would not know what to expect sitting down from DeLuca's roster.
Isn't that most games for you?
No, sometimes when I played against the other Steve Cable Avengers player yesterday, I was like, I know what's happening. Or
you saw the mirror match coming?
Yeah. Or like when, you have a decent guess what other people are going to do. But when there's a lot of affiliations going on, it's there's always a reason, right?
Totally, yes.
But
I mean, I think Mike's fourth time on stream this weekend.
Okay.
And I don't think I've ever correctly predicted what exact squad he's going to play.
Interesting. Okay.
Even with 3 games, I guess we'll see with this one. Maybe I'll get it right on the fourth try.
Well, maybe it'll be like 15.
Have all this data.
15 Gamma Hammers, and we're just like, here we are.
I don't know if he plays Asgard there or Cabal there.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know if he feels like his Asgard missing out on, because it doesn't have brothers in arms, right? Because of the duel. I don't know if he feels disadvantaged in that matchup not having brothers. I would, right? Like if I was playing his roster, I would not feel good Asgard on Asgard and not having brothers. Maybe he feels differently. And then otherwise he has the Thor, Red Skull, Thanos, Red Skull, Zemo 1, which is a very popular 15 for the Red Skull 3 side of things.
Yeah, that also sounds like a pain in the ass.
Uh-huh. I mean, listen, Jumanji, I would be, we
yes.
We talked about this before, would be stoked for an Asgard mirror. I think it would be incredible for LVO to just be the land of mirror finals. Unironically,
it would be my favorite ending.
I think that would be a very fun game to cast. We haven't had that yet, right? Like we've had.
Yeah, there's like all these big dudes running around.
We had a bunch of kaiju on
kaiju
kaiju.
into each other.
Yeah, we had a couple of kaiju on kaiju games, right? Like the last game was Cabal Thanos versus Thor 2, right? But we haven't.
It's not the same one.
Yeah, I want a mirror. We haven't had a kaiju mirror yet. We had an Eye-Hulk versus a Thor, not a mirror. Still a fun game. But really, we just haven't had the real dumb shit, and I want the real dumb shit.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I want to see what other things from the standard Asgard situation DeLuca is actually missing. Is it pretty much just brothers?
I think it's just the brothers. He has Odin's and Bridge.
Okay.
Mike had to run to the bathroom, so we're stalling for time.
Yes,
very. I don't know if they can hear you, though. I don't know, the noise cancellation on these.
I can hear a little bit.
They heard that big scream in the morning. They heard that. So if you can match that volume.
I don't think I can at this point.
We'll see if chat.
There you go. I think that's true for everyone here. Well, you're playing Asgard, so it's brought you this far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just feel bad because everyone's doing cool stuff, chucking, grabbing stuff and moving away. And I'm just like, all right, walk forward, hammer.
But you're choosing what to hammer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I made one cool decision the entire game with Mox. At the end of the game, he was like, that was a cool decision. I was like, that was the only one I got to make. So, nailed it.
Oh, there's Mike.
All right, have fun.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it.
I mean, just if I play this, just be like, well, you had a plan. I just didn't know.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll cover for you.
All right.
Mike needs his mic. Mike found his mic. All right.
Nice. We can hear him. We're all set.
It does look like we'll have a table judge for this game. I don't know if he's got other things he's doing, but he's sitting down next to it watching.
He's watching for now.
We're rooting for DeLuca because Wong rejected the defenders. In his defense, the defenders let him down.
They do, yeah. I mean, He had a rough GT with defenders.
Yeah.
And then decided he wanted to win.
I think those are Gadzooks.
Talking about dice, as all good Marvel
Love
games
talking about dice.
involve. All right, tracking down some dice, and then gonna do some priority and get underway. Here.
So everybody watching probably knows what Mike's list is at this point because I've read it out loud a couple different times. Oh yeah, sure. So at least day one of the 5 games, he played into Asgard 3 times, won once, lost twice. And the last 2 rounds where Asgard lost twice. So he just didn't feel good about Defender's position in the meta, which he didn't believe.
Guys who switch the trays instead of having blue dice and blue tray, red dice and red tray,
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
And so he didn't feel good about Defender's position in the meta before the GT, and then the GT really reinforced that view that he didn't just feel good and wanted to play something better positioned. So, I mean, the reason he brought Asgard with him on the plane, right? Like, he knew that was a possibility.
Prepared. He's played a bunch of practice games.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's like helping everyone else prepare for
Yeah.
Asgard. Means he's been playing a lot of Asgard games just on accident.
Oh, he's doing the die rolling to select crisis. Love it.
Yeah.
What
heard of
do we
demons?
got?
So I don't have to update that. Exciting. 19 threat. The way he said that made me it's legacy virus. It kind of sounded like
Did sort of sound like he didn't have a choice.
making a fake choice there.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Carl's Ego the Living Planet board of CarlCon fame, and also got added to the TTS mod.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of people have familiar experiences with the board. And Eric's played on a bunch being in Sacramento, but I'm sure Mike has played on a bunch being a TTS man. So
Enthusiast, yeah.
yeah,
Doesn't look like virus.
I think it's going across.
Wait, is he?
So I think the point
Okay,
is like,
I thought he put it down on the F. Never mind.
yeah, is under this stupid terrain, so they're just
I
getting
see. I
that.
see.
So I'm going to guess this is a legacy virus. I will update the overlay later if I'm wrong. Having a judge place it to make sure it's in a good spot and everybody's happy with. Yeah, Daza, that was the GT, right? So not the Invitational, a separate event where you can get AMG prize support, basically. He played Defenders, went 3-2, decided he had enough of playing Defenders in the current meta, and dropped.
As an expert in this terrain setup, is the mouth a size 4?
Now this is 4.
Okay.
There's a lot of 3s.
A lot of 3s.
Nose, eyes, and I think all the orbs, like the big hexagonal.
Yeah, are all 3s.
I think those are all 3s.
Cool. And then all the shorter stuff is 2s and stuff.
Yeah,
Ones
the
and
little
2s.
craters are 1s. Yep, that sounds right to me.
Cool.
So
Good
lots
setup
of
for
ammo
Asgard.
for, yep, if you got terrain throws.
The mouth is sort of upside down.
So at 19 threat, I kind of expect it will be
Same.
the Asgard 15, right?
Yeah,
So
plus
probably
Sif.
Jane, Thor, Bill, and then a Sif.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Eric has any other 4s in his roster at the moment.
I mean, that's definitely what he played last round against bots.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
He does not have another 4.
Okay.
Does not have 2 2s, so it'd have to do some real weird shit to make that happen.
I don't know. I think that's pretty solid roster for a Demons Virus.
Yeah, it's great, I
situation.
think.
And I'm not even going to try and guess what Duke is playing. But your record, not perfect,
No.
but I'm sure you're in the ballpark.
Yes.
So what are you feeling?
I still think that he's going to try to play Cabal and avoid the exact mirror.
Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't be like model to model
Yeah.
because he doesn't have a Sif. It would be a
Okay.
Loki instead. But I don't think that's likely. So I would expect Cabal, maybe with Loki. Take the 15 Cabal we talked about: Zemo, Red Skull,
Uh-huh.
Loki, Thanos. That's my guess, without
Zemo
thinking about it
Russell.
too hard.
Okay.
I wouldn't say the meta is just Asgard and Cabal. They're 2 of the best factions for sure, and that's why you see them in the finals. But like the top 8's got Web Warriors and Apocalypse, Midnight Suns, and the Defender. Oh yeah, Nobility's currently in top 8 with Defender still. So like the only double up we see is Cabal and Asgard. Definitely the most popular, but I don't. There's a lot of stuff. And then you go look at the weekend, or it's a totally different set of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The event 2 weeks ago, bunch of X-Men, bunch of Webs, all other different stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
I mean, there's always an element of like what people are choosing to play, who show up, and then
Totally,
do well with,
yes.
and
Yep.
There's no one answer. Even though Thor 2, very good. But there's plenty of people who played Thor 2 and didn't end up here. So.
A lot of them.
Yeah, most of them, in fact. What did we decided the most played model in the Invitational was Namor? Ignoring the fact that it was only 47 of the 64.
Yeah, well, I was
lists or
going to see if
whatever.
any other list got updated to coded,
Oh,
maybe.
that's smart.
I do agree, Tommy, that like the worry about playing Cabal here is they are very fragile. It's a glass cannon faction for sure, and it's like Zemo and Red Skull are kind of vulnerable to the collateral damage. Oh, Asgard v Asgard.
Ooh,
I see a Jane.
exciting.
So let's update this
Yep,
token.
it's a Loki instead of a Sif.
Almost the perfect mirror. The dream ruined.
Incredible. And they've got somewhat different tactics too. Just
Yeah.
gonna fall back.
I mean, because Brothers is not available.
Mm-hmm.
So Recal Bridge, Brace, Fallback. I think that's an Odin's hiding back there. Ooh, that's not that camera. Yeah, it's an Odin's. So the same 5-card we've seen Mike play a bunch. Ooh, chat popping off. I'm way behind on messages. Definitely a lot of red capes
7
here.
out of 8 characters. Yeah, okay.
Everybody but Loki caped up.
It is kind of messed up that I've never seen anyone paint a Loki red cape. Or cape red.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I've done, like my Jane's got a blue cape, my Bill's got a purple cape, so I went the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I don't know what TTCs Eric has. We'll see if they say it out loud, or I can wander over and get a list for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's go. Okay, yeah. So we know DeLuca is playing his Recal Bridge Brace Fallback Odin's the Asgard 5. He's probably played in every Asgard game. I think the duels also mean you just don't have a lot of like spicy TTCs.
Definitely.
Right? You kind of have a more set.
With so few generic ones, you're pretty locked into the faction specific ones you brought. I assume Eric's are pretty similar to what he's been playing.
I would think so as well. Yeah.
Like Rainbow, Odin's
Brothers,
Brace, and Recal.
I'm guessing Recal. Yeah, the fifth one's the only one I don't know. Those first four, I'm very confident in betting on being the ones that we show up.
I mean, Recal in the potentially Asgard mirror feels like a pretty good value choice too.
Joe, I don't think you're allowed to claim you haven't been playing MCP when you just won the Weekender. I think that's not okay. I think that required you to play at least 1 or 2 games of Marvel.
Thor 1, the better Thor? I don't know. I have lost to Thor 1 and Thor 2 this weekend, so as my 2 losses, so that's always fun.
Yeah, I think both 4 threats are good in this matchup. Loki has a whole bunch of interesting tricks he can do, and the root aura is definitely meaningful on a lot of these characters. But also, Sif does a lot of damage.
She does.
And this is going to be a punch fight, and definitely can output more damage more easily than Loki with charge and rerolls and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Loki sort of, I think a lot of times counts on that, like being able to put his bubble on a lot of people to like get value out of it. Which, like, if this was Gamma, gets a lot easier.
Totally.
But here, I don't know if they're like chasing extracts around. We'll see.
The game could move away from Loki for sure. Mostly, I think Loki just has to worry about collisions. It'll be he's got 5 health on each side, right? So the lightning leaps and his trickster not working against collisions is, I think, the thing that can catch him off,
for sure.
Right? And if he gets sniped like that, it can be real bad. Where the Sif durability makes a big difference there.
What do you read anything into him holding Sif for deployment last? Like,
I think it's just like the other ones are pretty rote.
Okay.
And there's like a world she might go. Like, I think he's trying to figure out if it's worth going to that top one, or if she's just going to be out of the fight for too long doing that. But I think it's probably mostly just like Bill and Thor in the middle, Jane near the middle.
Ready to charge to the middle, turn 2?
Yeah.
At least the bases are different, so it's easy to tell apart.
Yeah, we should be able to know whose Thor is who.
Yeah.
Also, the yellow lightning bolt on this Thor versus blue helps. Tell us your TTCs. I must know.
All right, we're ready to rock. Loki walking for the first extract. And they did decide he was able to get to that extract while staying off of the piece of terrain, so it looks like he goes for that first off. Bill doing the same on the top. Any surprises?
No. So Eric kind of had a pile, so it's hard to see, but Recal was on top at least, so I think it's what we expected with the brace, brothers. I saw brothers too, so we know that's here.
Okay.
Odin's, bridge, Recal. Yeah, Mike is on the right. He's got the grass bases with the gray ones being Eric's. So Bill wanders up instead to grab that. So by virtue of doing that, he's decided he's not going to try to threaten Brothers top of 2, which I think makes sense because he doesn't have priority.
Right, yes.
So just decided to grab stuff instead.
It's not like a race to Brothers either. It's not like he's going to have to eat a Brothers from DeLuca. So he's got a little more time on that front.
It does mean...
Nate's running off to fix the camera real quick. Having some on and off trouble. Sif moving up to Eric's back point to match the bill. Unfortunately, going to take an incinerate, but worth it to keep it even on points.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with deployment being where it was that Bill had to go get a thing, but I think it will be fine. Jane just positioning for next turn.
I mean, that's sort of an interesting, like, he did choose to deploy Sif last. Like, he could have put Sif up there to do that extra act. Still decided it was better to have her central.
So that is a size 3 nose.
Yeah.
Which means you can kind of gamble on hiding behind it, right? And Thor can't walk and see you, depending on angles. It's kind of tricky, but that nose does provide a nice line of sight blocking bunker. It sounds like we might also be thinking about having cover, just flopping Thor out there and seeing if cover can save him.
All right, Thor moving up.
I think Kia, the hairy arms is very true on both sides. Yeah, Wintergrim. So not for Thor, but I was thinking Jane could have done this. So Jane could have double walked and hidden behind this nose because she's only size 2.
Remind me, this is the...
Carl doesn't know his own board. That nose is definitely a 3 in the mouth. It's definitely a 4. I remember I was over there where they were looking at terrain sizes setting up. Oh, all right. He probably corrected it well before I said anything because of chat delay.
A clipboard paying off for you.
Oh, yeah. What else am I putting on it?
Yeah, I know. All right, thinking long and hard about judging whether he can get a Thor's base and to see the other Thor and be within range 3. Still going to be only 1 attack regardless, but
yeah, so
any
it's like
damage you can put on there.
1 attack this turn and then 2 next turn.
Sure.
Right, because Asgard will have priority, and I think we'll be happy to just lay into.
Yeah, and...
Jason, I don't know where this mat came from. You would have to ask Carl. Oh, no.
Carl will be in it very
We're not going to answer any more questions about the mat. Carl's on top of it. I don't think it is private, Shane, unless something changed. It was unrated yesterday, Kolar, but that got fixed. It is a properly rated event. It was just oops on the initial setup in Longshanks, but it is rated. Don't worry. Everybody's getting their points. So they're trying to mark where the nose lies right now.
Private?
I don't know if mine's cached or something, but it loaded fine over here.
Yeah, I don't think it would. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything weird about the event. But oh, it does say private. Huh.
Oh, interesting. Then why
That is
can't I
odd.
see it?
I think private just means doesn't show up in the list.
Oh,
It's not.
okay.
It's not hidden. It's, well, it's
Oh.
like
Yeah,
hidden, not private.
yeah. Okay.
So Thor gets just close enough and starts going down.
5 successes, 4 blocks. Did get both triggers on Thor. Arcs the damage to Sif. So Thor takes 1, Sif takes 1.
Oh, that push is big.
Yeah, push is a big deal. It does mean if Mike wants it, he can pounce into Thor. Do some more damage. Throwing the nose at him. Blocks 1, takes 3. And we have a Jane position for next turn. Walks twice to get there. 2 for Mike, 3 for Eric.
All right.
I wonder if it would have been worth to push Thor a little bit differently there so he's on fire now.
Maybe.
Because you were planning to throw the nose anyways. You could have like bumped him into the nose.
You're giving Eric a point, but yeah.
Oh, that's true.
It's probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not going to points, but yeah.
That's true. It would be a VP for that. Maybe not
Maybe
worse.
just old habits die hard. So, going to be a tough Thor activation to get through.
I mean, Thor lives here. Thor fails to kill Thor. Then the Thor player is having a really good and bad time.
Yeah.
Blocking 1, taking 4 at the moment.
Missed it.
There are 2 skulls on Mike DeLuca's side, so recalling. Well, 3 skulls. So pretty sizable recal here. Nothing. No damage.
That's a good start for
Yep.
Eric. Good use of recal.
Doesn't know. There was no cuts. We just did a 64-player bracket. One damage to Thor with this punch. Well, Thor's living.
Thor is living without even having to play Odin's for it.
Yeah, I mean, did have to burn recal,
Yeah.
but
Like, recal is always the chance, though, not the guarantee. And
yep. Yeah,
hang on to the guarantee. But he is. Oh,
two
the push and
wilds.
arc are in.
Yeah, any order you
order?
want. Yeah, it's real fun.
That's goofy.
So 1 to Sif, 1 to Jane. Getting the arc damage done. Thor is declaring the throw the size 4 at Thor. Assuming a brace here, but brace.
Eric does decide to go with the brace.
Yep. Okay. I mean, if you're Eric, you have to be reasonably happy about how that went.
Yeah. Thor to pounce, or 4 to pounce.
Yes, because of Loki aura. Can probably get out of it here, but also doesn't matter a huge amount because there's not going to be anything to throw.
Yeah.
Blocks 1, takes 3 on his Thor.
Interesting.
Punching Jane here. No damage on the attack to Jane. Does have a leap, so lightning arcs damage into Loki. Gets started on his 5 health. Man, these Thor builders are not.
Yeah, this is not looking like the terrifying beatdown we were expecting.
Leadership hero from Jane. Blocks 2, takes
So
1.
1 and an electro leap.
Another leap into Loki.
So what do you make of the choice to attack Jane instead of Thor? Wanting to push?
I suppose.
And the leaps into Loki. He's like, he has other attacks he can put into Thor later in the turn, but doesn't really into Jane.
Yeah, I mean, I expect DeLuca is just going to lay into Thor 2 here, because doesn't have to worry about giving up Prio by dazing him.
Yep, free and clear.
Getting over terrain, trying to throw. Definitely a race to throw terrain in this matchup, and there's so many terrain throws on both sides. The more one side gets to throw, the more advantages they're going to feel.
And they're already starting to clear out the area where the fight's happening so far. So
Yes.
it's going quickly.
Gets within 2. Not a great Jane punch, it doesn't look like.
No.
A lot of rerolls, though, so it could get better. Blocks it.
Oh. This is a very defensive Asgard barrier.
1 damage on the second punch.
Is that a wild at the bottom? Yeah.
Or super spicy to throw in. And also probably, if she wants to throw the terrain at him,
He's got to keep him here.
got to keep him pretty close.
It wasn't clear if he got close enough on the terrain to me, I guess. Pretty close.
Okay. Yeah, it did look
Yeah.
like a complicated triangle to
Yeah.
happen there, so. So taking the wild throw
Clearing
instead.
out even more terrain.
Yep. Is there a Magneto here? We're going to be playing in a parking lot soon.
Yeah.
So into that terrain, which will break it, and 1 more damage to Thor.
So what does that leave him with? 3 more? 4? Or 2 more? He's got 7 on him right now.
Yes, so 2 health left on the left side, Thor 2.
This turn is the mirrored activations at least.
Thor went, then Thor went.
Yep,
then
Jane and Jane.
Jane went, then Jane went. Hopefully we get a Bill, then Bill.
That'd be cool.
Trying to get Jane on Jane violence going. It does make me suspect they think Thor 2 is size 2, except for pounces. So I don't know. But yeah, that crater should almost certainly be busted.
Oh, right.
But if you're just joining us, we are not judges. We're not even allowed to call judge if we see stuff. We just get to watch. So. So Jane charges forward. Agreed not. Oh, there they caught it.
Okay.
Maybe they're just waiting for Jane to not be on top of it, and they can get a clean measurement from her. Not on the demon portal here. Thanks, Bloosh. I'm glad people have been enjoying the stream. We've had a lot of fun doing it. Seems like people have enjoyed it. So this is looking like a serious hit.
Yeah.
Rerolls didn't do anything, though.
Kind of wild.
Leadership reroll for the turn here, too. 5. Can't tell how many blocks. Seems like a lot. Or recal's being considered.
Yeah.
Confirming some timing questions about when the throw versus other things. So. You're very welcome, William, and Geeks Workshop. So,
currently
like
taking 4, I think I heard them say.
Okay, yep.
So deciding if they want to.
And if she does take the throw, it's outside of 3, so there won't be a double tap. Okay, recal.
All the Thors recalling also.
Yep. This is the best mirror match of all time. Oh,
that's a big recal. Sounds like it's still turned into 4.
Still turned into 4. Oh, boy.
3 left on.
We really get to see, as mentioned before, the real recal experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes it saves your bacon. Sometimes it didn't do nothing.
The microcosm of recal.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being a member and supporting us.
Cheers for Nate and D.
Yeah, Eric is on 3. It's a Carlcon token. It's a white logo. And Mike is on 2 with his Punished Sooner token.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's Sooner with an eye patch.
Yeah, okay. I just thought it was Nick Fury.
I mean, I think that's the joke they're going for.
Okay.
So it does throw Thor into Jane, which is pretty great. Blocks nothing, takes 4.
Ouch.
Okay, so this is the violence we expected from this Asgard mirror finally showing up.
He's still got a whole action left, yeah?
Yes. Yep, that was the first punch. Thank you, Joe. Thinking about a lightning bolt. Because that would also kill Jane.
Sure.
If it gets the wild on it. Man, Jane is single-handedly making this a great turn for Eric.
Really, yeah. I mean, she's sort of like Thor 1 in that sense. So
yeah.
like a high variance model with, I guess, her rerolls built in, but like.
But even still.
Yeah.
Just like the difference in 1 wild and nothing is such a huge difference on her attacks. So the gunshot into Jane. Because Jane is on 1 and Thor is on 2. So mathematically easier to get both this line.
There's wild. Six
successes with a wild. Oh, yeah, trying to see if Loki also gets caught in the blast. That would have been brutal.
Yeah. Loki takes 2 electro leaps and 2 splash damage and is hanging out on 1. That'd be
No one's
a
interacted
rough
with
time.
him, and
Yeah.
he's on 1.
He's hanging out with his extract and just getting punished for existing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a meta European here at LVO. It's definitely a huge amount of effort.
Yeah.
The LCQ is a lot of fun, and there's definitely stuff to do on the other days, but the Invitational is definitely the big thing. So I can understand the trip being very difficult.
Definitely, especially because there's only like 5 slots guaranteed from the LCQ. And
Yeah, although I think this year we ended at like 11
there were a
or
lot,
something.
yeah.
So it always ends up more than the guarantee, but still, when you're talking about international travel, you can't plan around that.
For sure.
So Days Jane on Mike, Days Thor 2 for Mike. Rough.
Big days. Loki finally playing the game.
Loki stepping up to try to knock down enemy Thor. Counting blanks, so 5 dice. Take exactly 2 and dies.
All right. Could be an interesting top of the turn here.
Very.
Both Thor's dazed, but only 1 Jane.
Loki picks up the virus, remembering to pay the tax for already holding one.
Nice.
So we could have a Sif who, if he tries to charge Loki, Loki still has Trickster money online. So he can dip out of there pretty easily. Otherwise, you can waffle with Bill here. You could, double walk him down to the point. You're pretty confident Mike's Bill is going to go into Jane here.
Thinking through all the Trickster options.
Yep. We hear verbally talking about what happens if Trickster's going on. So very happy to see that. I don't remember the range of Sif Spender.
I think it's 3, but I am not confident.
Range 3, but it costs 3. Doesn't have the power to. Oh no! Right, yeah, she got some lightning arced.
Oh,
so
right.
could charge Spender, and I think get close enough that he can't Trickster out. You got to be real close. It's like less than 1, I think.
To get within 3 and to have a short.
Knocking him out. Yep.
Yeah, you got to be pretty close. But that seems possible.
But then you only get 1.
Yeah.
He can still Trickster the Builder.
Right.
So you're only going to get 1 shot with that. She can't double Spender.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8. Definitely not on it. She got a lot of power. She's definitely not on 8 power.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure.
So Eric's thinking about, if I do charge here, he can Trickster. Jane gets it. Sif gets an action back, can then walk and punch. So he's happy getting 1 punch into Sif here. I was also putting stuff within 3 of Bill. He might take a Spender there if Loki. So the world where Loki decides to spend his power to count blanks instead and just try to tank it.
Right.
And so now he's setting up Sif. Sploosh, Nobility made it. He's in the running for top 8. Was 3-1 last I saw, or 4-1 last I saw. Kurtz, yes, this is the final. Kurtz finals. You're welcome, Alex. We're having a blast here.
Eric does declare the attack into Loki, and
Perfect.
Mike is thinking about.
I assume he did not Master Swordsman or anything.
I don't think so. Doesn't look like it, money-wise.
So, yeah, kind of knowing Trickster's a very real possibility here. I think the Trickster's definitely happening because I saw Mike pull the power off Loki. I mean, he can always put it back, right? He's not pot committed, but it seems likely we're getting a Trickster here.
Yeah.
And then it's a question of does Jane walk punch to try to bring him down or Spender? Her Spender just, I was like, did she move off her Spender? No, she does not.
Wait, she does. It's the last part.
Oh, yeah, if you get the trigger.
Yeah,
Kind of
so
dicey,
she does sometimes. Loki departs.
Yep. Coming deeper, kind of keeping more of Eric's stuff in there, and I think splitting up a bunch so you don't get arced. Oh. Eric got confused by the red capes. Too many red capes. Walk and stab instead. I'm going to guess Master Swordsman. Yep, there's the Master Swordsman here. Paying the full 3 for it because of Loki tax, but she's got the money for it. I think this Loki's about to pop. Yep, Loki's dead. So 3 power for Sif, which is enough to pick up both viruses if she wants both. Don't understand why she wouldn't.
Sounds pretty worth it.
Yep. But
and then we have
the
fight.
We called it.
Now finally the Bill portion of the mirror.
Oh, sure. We get the end of the turn with Bill on Bill. Whose Bill is ready to be a billionaire?
A billionaire?
Yeah, I got to workshop that a bit more. There's something there, but
there's something there. I mean, like maybe when he makes a bunch of power.
So, nope, he freezes again. They're still thinking.
Yep.
And we're back. That's a bill I'm asking, please stop. Don't worry, I understood, William. Message received.
I already forgot the eyes are 3s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill has flight, though.
Yeah. But Bill also has throw.
Yes. Yeah, and definitely have enough money to afford it on both ends.
Although I imagine Eric is trying to save power for Brothers if he does get the chance.
I mean, it only costs 1.
Yeah, but potentially like having to reposition to get it where he wants it.
Bill's holding extracts. Can't Rainbow Bridge.
Can't remember. He can't?
Cannot.
Oh, I assumed that was one of the drop if you do.
Mike's just thinking about what to do with Bill. Decides to walk onto the point within 2 and punch Jane.
I don't know, making strikes with Bill always feels like the worst thing in the world. Because it's so random for how much power you make.
It sounds like block 0, so Jane rerolling her 2. Had 2 skulls, otherwise I can't reroll those. Takes the full 4. Ouch. Can throw Jane. Just throwing her into space, getting her out of here.
Make her come charging back next turn.
And that's Bill. Kind of surprised he didn't bonk Jane. Oh, no, she's 8 on the front. I was thinking she only had 1 health left, but she's 8 on the front.
Yeah, she's 8-6.
Currently, Eric is up by 1 point. He is the whiter token at 3. DeLuca has 2. Don't think it's going to come down to score, but that's the score. Who's winning Asgard?
If it comes down to score, things have gone very wrong.
I believe Bill hit the stun. I'm not totally sure.
He did, yeah.
Okay.
Now, do I see the stun token? No, but I did hear him say he hit it.
Bill summoning the storm at Bill. Let's see if Bill can block Bill. Oh, there they caught the stun. Love players making sure everyone agrees at game state whenever they notice something amiss. Always very easy to correct if you catch it quick. Reroll because Bill is flying and Bill can reroll. Nothing. No damage, no shock. William not doing much. So 3-1. 6-4. 6-3. Eric winning. But going to be a lot of violence that happens here.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see if Thor can kill Thor. Does have to get through Odin's. But if anyone's capable of doing that, Thor's pretty good at it.
Does 2 have a terrain, character or terrain throw?
No, terrain only.
Just terrain.
His spender can throw characters.
Okay. There's still a little terrain.
Remembering Jane is stunned, so Jane only gets 1 power on the power phase. Starting with a spender. I think it's going to try to throw Thor into Jane here and get both of them. I think would be DeLuca's ideal line here.
Trying to mirror what happened to him last year.
Eric's Thor 2 is also in the Loki bubble, so does not get crits. Currently blocking 2, so taking 3 damage. Jane reroll, because why not? Take 2, blocks 2, takes 3. Oh, throwing into Sif instead. Okay, sure, I like that too. Oh, okay, I just stop guessing. All right, he's got a different plan than what I'm going into. Yeah. 1 damage on Thor, so that should be 4 total. No Thor Counter-Strike, which I think is smart. Mike's Thor does not have a ton of power. Just juicing him up so you get hit harder doesn't seem good. Here's the pounce. Deciding to roll instead of bracing. Changes his mind, goes for the brace instead. Oh, that's right. He played brace. Is rolling. Yep. Right, it's Odin's brother's bridge left.
Bridge, that's the last one.
Blocks 2, takes 2. And then a builder into Thor. No damage.
Oof.
Thor lives. Even with a throw to back this up, it can always get Odin's.
Odin's, yeah. Really trying to avoid.
Oh, it doesn't even have the power to throw. Yeah.
Ooh.
So Odin's kept.
Odin, yeah. But he is, what, hanging out on 2 now? So probably only 1 more Thor activation here?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Unless Thor kills
Unless he kills everyone on the bottom, which, like, is not impossible. I'm
still surprised he did do that throw into... No, didn't do that throw into Sif instead of...
Yeah, I don't quite...
She's got... I mean, she's only on 2 power, so maybe you're trying to, like, not give him more power because she's in the Loki aura, so she can't afford anything yet.
She's holding 2 extracts, though.
Yeah, and I
is
also
she
think
5 on the front?
6.
But now it sort of swings even harder because couldn't make the power to throw the terrain. Now Eric has terrain to throw.
Yep. So the problem here is that he wants to try to do brothers, so he's looking at, like, where can I bridge to?
Yeah.
But I think with Bill holding 1, Bill can't get close enough. Right, like, I think even if Thor goes straight towards Bill, they don't get within 2 to brothers. So I think Bill last turn should have double walked.
Yeah, I think
so
Eric's
then you can catch.
Feeling that right now, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see that he didn't just stand in the middle, but...
Terrain throw into Jane. I mean, Dazza, some Asgard players don't play brothers, but I think brothers is still really good, even restricted.
DeLuca braced the terrain.
Yep.
Sounded like.
Makes sense. So there is a world where Thor can, like, spender Thor. Oh, no, because he plays first. I was thinking he like throw in place, but no, Thor has to place first and then throw. So his maneuverability off of that is confirming he paid the Loki tax, which he did.
He does have...
Spendering into Jane. Trying to get Jane off the table since Thor is already activated.
Too many people named Thor. On this
Yes.
table. Even for the players.
5 successes. Jane buying reels.
Ooh. Referee roll.
Jane leadership as well. Ooh. Dice down. 2 damage. So this also means Jane's guaranteed to live because of Odin's.
Because of Odin's, sure.
Oh, no,
Or
he could get to
Ziva,
pounce.
Yeah. Well, but that's still... I guess you have to block nothing.
Yeah. Okay, so Luke is not marked damage yet because he's thinking about fallback. So the place happens first, and then fallback, and then the throw is still coming.
Okay.
I don't remember if this Thor is mandatory or not. Mandatory. Must throw. I don't...
And it is away.
Yes. Trying to see if we can get into Bill.
That's close.
Yes. We'll probably have a judge come help with this, but they're talking about it. Actually,
It looks pretty good, but...
I mean, we're the wrong people to ask with the
Yeah.
camera. And so here's the judge lining up what they determined a way to be. Okay, players agree with that being the angle. Pretty easy. The lightning
Hit
came.
the lightning.
That happened last game too.
Really?
The capes and lightnings are love. But we know Bill was with one of this portal, so we can reconstruct from there. So 2 damage from the attack, a 3rd from the throw. Dave, I think not base to base because he's trying to stay out of some of the storm range of Bill. He was measuring the 4 and kind of looking at that. So I think he's trying to not get shot by Bill. Bill dodges, spends 1 to reduce, takes 0 damage from the collision. And now the second Thor punch into Loki. Loki's going to think about tricks and stirs.
That's interesting. So right now, Eric's Thor does not have the power to pounce, so he really does sort of need to convert something on a builder here.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to trickster here.
Well, I mean, to get out of Thor range, you do sort of have to adjust where the bubble goes. But you can always be outside of the 3 and keep the 4 on Thor at least.
I guess I'm not totally convinced. Is Jane still within 3 of Thor?
Sure.
I don't think she is. Maybe
no,
we're getting
I
cambered.
agree.
So if she's out and you trickster out, Thor can't attack anyone.
Can't he attack the other Thor?
Oh, yeah, he can. What am
Yeah.
I thinking about? Never mind. Yep. So Loki taking this
Not
instead.
necessarily the target he wants, but...
Gets to decide if he wants to count the blank after seeing this. Decides to count blanks. So only 1 gets through, which means Thor will not have the power to pounce because of the Loki aura. Does get the push, though.
Oh. Doesn't that? That's close.
Yeah, so might be able to pounce.
He didn't push quite like
Yeah, maximum.
max distance to get out, but
I just
he's just gonna sit on it.
yeah, maybe he's, like not in range to pounce into Jane. I saw them measuring the medium off of Thor towards Jane.
I guess that would put him back in Bill summon the storm range. So
yeah, I think he wants Diluc to have to spend some actions to get Thor off this board.
that's fair. I mean, he's gonna have to get the other phone off though. Sif and Jane and everyone. His Jane is in a bit of a precarious spot too.
Totally. So it was not a really exciting Thor on either side there. They both kind of just did
This
some
has not
stuff,
been the showcase for why Thor is a problem, but it's not every game.
No, of course not. GG no heals. The push from Thor 2 is omnidirectional, so it's not away. It can go either direction. Schmid, Eric is currently up on points. He's the white token, currently at 6 points.
Oh, right. He could also be holding 3 for the Odins. That's a good thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it means that like if Loki wants to walk and punch, you can tank. You can Odin's that if you want. Make him really put some resources out of there.
Or even, both Jane actions or anything. How's our clock doing? 24 to 26, Eric to Mike.
Yeah, pretty
Not
even.
bad. Loki's also 5 health in the back?
Yes. It's the downside of Loki. He's a 10 health model. He needs his tricks to keep him alive. So far, he's been doing okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But he's paying for it and got flipped still, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a semi-scary situation here for DeLuca. Like, I understand why he's tanking here. Because he can very easily have, like, his Loki have a, go to kill Sif or get away from Sif. But then Eric's Jane might screw up his Jane.
Right.
His Jane can go attack Eric's Jane, but then Sif can probably try to mess up Loki in response. Well, I guess with only 2 powers, she can't charge him.
She kind of has to hit Thor, doesn't she?
Yeah. So maybe that's what I'm doing is Jane into Jane. If I'm Mike.
That unfortunately seems like the thing. I have no sense of whether Eric's bill is 4 from Mike's Thor. I'm thinking no.
I'm pretty sure no.
But
Dave, what I think Daz is asking about is he's seen people measure angles differently, right? Like sometimes use short, medium, or long sticks to figure the 90 degrees. Generally, you're supposed to get on the model, but sometimes terrain makes that difficult. Largely, it's just about if the players agree that's away, then that's away, right? And how they get to that isn't as important.
Yeah, they all make the same 90 degree. It's just easier to judge with the longer one.
Yeah. So Jane charges Jane as we expected. Here's the charge rerolls. Seems like a lot of successes.
Yeah.
I think I heard 6. Thinking about rerolls, thinking about Odins. Seeing what terrain could get thrown, what else is happening.
I guess this is almost certainly Mike's Jane's last activation, though, with Bill sitting there to trade.
Yeah, totally. She just takes it, I think, which should daze her.
Looks like it.
That does give Eric priority. Because if you Bill, then Sif, then Loki.
Yeah, but now, I mean, I guess Eric can't afford to daze anyone else now. But
well, I think he's okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll take that trade, but
especially if Eric's Bill can get Jane off the table here, I think things feel really good. We're looking to see if Jane can walk and throw at Thor 2. Seems kind of like a difficult triangle to make happen here as before. Because she only picks up with a 2 and only throws with medium.
Yeah, that seems wild.
So that seems somewhat difficult, but worth. I mean, if you can do that, it's great.
Yeah, it's worth measuring, but. I mean, he's still sitting on Odin's, but I guess it's a way to burn Odin's without having to go all the way over there potentially.
Oh, Rainbow Bridge to get over there. Okay,
Oh.
smart. That'll do it.
Yep.
Bill also Rainbow Bridging.
Also gets her out of the immediate Bill danger zone.
Yeah, that trade you were talking about is no longer. I'm thinking about, does Loki want to do it? He has the power, but that's his last 3 power. So like his attacks when he gets there are less good.
Yeah.
But it does get him to a safer spot. Deciding Loki no. Just Bill and Jane are going to be.
Oh, still not doing the throw. Eric still has his bridge though, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Currently no one can use it, but it is there. Thinking about sending Bill forward, deciding maybe not worth it. Maybe he just wants to bunker up in the bottom right, keep his stuff safe from attrition. I do think this might get a little. There's a world where Sif runs away with her 2 extracts, and Bill has Eric has all 3 viruses at that point.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which he's not close to that, like not close to 16.
Right.
But
it does sort of force.
It's pretty easy to be ahead on 6 at that point if you can get all the extracts away and your opponent either can have demons or chase you. Okay, so punches Thor, deals 1, gets the wild, bonks him, kills the train, kills Thor. All right, so that was what you wanted from your bridge.
Yeah. You trade the card for Thor. It does make giving up priority feel a lot better.
Okay, Sif deciding to fight, stabbing Thor. I mean, Thor 2 is pretty good at chasing, so that is one of the worries of the runaway. Reroll, nothing sticks. Alyssa, there is 1 to 2 judges at the table based on what's going on, so things get missed. It happens. It's happened every single game we streamed the whole weekend. It's just, it's up to the players to keep that stuff clean. Sif decides to run away. I think that makes sense when your attack goes really bad. I think there's a world where he might try to kill Jane with a charge there, but he needed a power because of the Loki aura.
Right. No.
Mike does not have power. True. He's got a bill to go. Then Eric's bill has to go, and then a Loki still has to activate.
After falling back, Mike's bill returning to the fold.
Probably just throw Sif, I'm guessing, towards Loki. Get her into the pile. Keep those extracts with someplace you can whack them. Might clonk into this for a point on her way.
Sure.
Yep, looks like it. Confirming. Yep, I did contact. Yep, I do take a damage. Glad players agree on game state. Now it's at Eric's bill. Walk to get on here. So if that Loki does live, Eric does get to score a bucket of points.
How many power? He's got 3 power.
3
on his
power.
Bill.
Yeah, so he can do a Goo Hunter
Go
or
hunter,
Builder throw.
Or, Not quite 2 to Jane.
Ah, rough. Punch Thor. Probably going to see a throw afterwards. So no damage. Stun on Thor 2. That's not nothing.
Yeah. Especially when he's only on 2 power right now.
Yep. Thinking about throwing Thor into Loki, I think I heard verbally, but then deciding rather not. Throws her into Jane instead. Thor takes his 1. Jane takes 3 and dies. That's really good. Deciding it's not worth a recal.
Big miss and dodge.
Huge swing for Eric there.
Wow.
Turn is not going well for him, but that was a big help.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Loki try to kill Sif here. Count blanks, Master Swordsman back. Pays the throw 3 for it because of Loki tax. So 5 dice count blanks versus 3 dice real any.
The defensive Master Swordsman. Rare but strong.
Really needs her to live.
Yep.
No crits because of Loki. Walking 2 has the real for swords. Takes 1. All right. So he gets the VPs he wants. And he gets Prio. Odin's still on both sides?
Is that what that
That's
card?
Odin's for Mike for sure.
Did Eric play his Odin's?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I think it's Odin's on both sides.
Because we were talking about him holding it for the Thor, and the Thor just died in 2 separate ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to end up with just bills on the table. We're just going to stand there and look at each other. It's pretty great.
Bill is eternal. Bill shows up in every game and every year of Marvel. Can't get rid of him. Can't get him out of the table.
Why would you
Can't
want
get him
to
out
get
of the
rid of
meta.
Bill?
I don't. I
he
love
doesn't
Bill.
have eyes for the prize. He's just
a
guy
large lad. He's just a beefy
who
boy.
sometimes hangs out with his brother, and then is good.
Oh, I was like, what other cards does Eric have? Well, he still has brothers in arms.
He still has brothers, which is less helpful now.
Yes. So this is still tough for Eric.
Yeah.
He would love to kill either Loki or Thor, but doing that around and through Odin's is very complicated.
Especially under Loki aura.
Yep. But Jane's gonna go.
He's gonna do 7 to a Thor. No.
Well, so I think the goal is to charge at an angle where you can throw Thor into Loki, and then spender Thor, and see if it gets splash damage.
Yeah.
Is he had enough points to just run away? I don't think fully.
He's not going to get far enough away with Sif.
Yeah, I don't. My biggest problem is that Sif with the points can't get far enough away, especially with like pushes and leaps. Like she's only got 2 health, so just like if she's anywhere near a friend, Mike's Thor 2 could punch that friend and arc.
4 net points relative to his bill, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably not quite.
It's close. Like I think Eric definitely does not need to table here to lock this up. But I don't think he can go full runaway in this situation with how good Thor is at chasing. Especially because you have to run to where like the terrain is, which means you might get stuff thrown at you on the way.
Yeah, definitely.
So thinking about some bridging. He does still have Rainbow Bridge as well. So it's like, can I get over to this last bit of terrain and get the throw off? It looks pretty close. 3 plus base plus 2 is hard to measure.
Yeah, it's also super hard to judge the shape of that terrain from here.
Yes. Like I didn't expect Sif to bump into it from where we were when she got pushed, and she totally did. So, yep. Don't ask us. We don't know. Looks like 17 minutes to 20 minutes on clock. Pretty even there. Yeah, I still don't see anything better than Jane charging towards DeLuca's demon to see if you can. She might have to bridge charge to do it, honestly.
to
I think
get
that's
all the way
probably fine. To try to get Thor 2 into Loki. And then, oh, wait, no. The Spender's, oh, no. I said, yeah. Okay, look at Sif's card for me. Because she's on 2 health. I don't remember if her damage reduction reduces from friendly effects or not.
Ooh, which question? No.
Okay, so never mind. My plan sucks. So we're going with Sif instead. She's punching a Loki. Loki is not trickstering. Waiting to see if he wants to count blanks. Rerolling a cocked die. 2. Decides to count blanks. Yeah, I think unless Eric like totally whiffs on these, you just do that.
Kind of have to. Yeah.
Blocks it. Buys the Spender into Loki. So this is range 3, which means unless he can block break line of sight, Loki can't escape this. Can't escape on distance. Maybe blocks line of sight.
Possible to.
Well, he can like curve around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he probably could.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said impossible.
No. It doesn't seem.
No,
possible.
totally possible. But it does make Loki in a very irrelevant position.
Right.
So decides to let it ride. And here's the attack.
That
looks like a lot of successes.
Yeah.
Thinking about rolling a cock die, and DeLuca is thinking about counting blanks.
Sounds like 6 so far.
6 successes with the throw trigger.
And that's before crits too.
Yes. And so the reason DeLuca's not slamming counting blanks is because then he can't Odin's. So
Right,
he has to
loses
choose
power.
here between Odin's, like saving Odin's,
Right.
and trying to just see if count blanks is enough to live, which is asking a lot.
A lot.
Or Odinsing. But it does also throw Loki medium while Sif walks short. So even if Loki lives, they're going to be he's going to be not in a great position. So you're not buying a great activation.
Right.
And he's going to be on 1 power. So that's very not exciting.
Not 1 or 0. Or I guess, 1 if he takes the Odin damage,
Yeah, if he Odins, he takes 1. So not a very exciting activation to save, but we're really coming down to this here, right? And every activation.
You might not have a ton more opportunities to play Odin's well.
Yeah.
Gonna spend some time thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any crits here. The extra dice you saw, there's a cock dice that got rerolled. You might have saw that. Loki
I thought
has
it rolled
taken,
into a crit, I guess.
but they haven't exploded.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loki's taken 1 damage. He has 4 health remaining. This is a very tough decision. I don't know what I would do.
Does the Loki activation matter for priority here? Like they have the same number of models, so
yeah, kind of does. Yeah,
he gets priority if he lets Loki go.
Yeah, but I also think that like Mike's pretty likely to want to try to get Jane off the table.
Yeah.
But I think I'm letting Loki go. It's tough, but I just think the activation you buy is not as exciting.
Yeah, I don't. I gotta look at my Thor 2 backside.
6 health.
6 health.
Oh, Thor 2.
Yeah.
8
Jane 6, yeah.
6. Too many Thors.
I mean,
Too many Thors.
Too many Thors, yeah.
Too many Thor 2.
Too many Thors of all kinds, really.
It was bad enough when I was a Thanos and Thor and I kept saying the wrong word.
I
guess now I can't say the wrong word.
The number of times today I have called a Thor Hulk is too high. I just walked around talking about...
That one's on you. Yeah,
that was on, I don't know. They're all 6-point models. They're all Hulks to me. She-Hulk, Hulk.
Yep. I mean, She-Hulk is up.
Well.
Magneto, Hulk. Okay, Odin's.
Besides the Odins.
Okay. Takes his
I guess
one.
the throw... The throw is pretty much guaranteed at this point, yeah. two things. There's got to either be crits he.
I like that Mike didn't even roll defense dice. Like he was waiting to say I want to count blanks, and it just like Odin's and forgot that he
Eric
could've-
also just like didn't explode the crits, which I
He
guess
can't. Loki are.
Loki. That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
But just like admitting it's super like this will happen, so we're gonna Odin's. We'll move on with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then. Oh, did he roll? Okay, maybe I missed him rolling dice. Caller says he saw some dice rolled. So. Oh no, Johnny's on my side. Oh, I see. Caller's responding to sploosh, skipping. Yeah, okay. All of us agree. He just did not decide to roll defense dice, which is his prerogative, I guess. I don't know. I mean, not legally, but.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Again,
changes what's happening
we're
here.
not cops.
No, absolutely not.
So it looks like Loki is close enough. He might be able to get a walk punch in there.
I do. Yeah, 100%. I'm kind of surprised Jane didn't go far away, but I think he's also trying to keep. Sorry, Sif didn't go further away, but I think he's trying to keep Sif harder for Thor to get at. Because I do think.
You don't want to actually end up with her in a spot where she can get electroleaped.
Yes, make that a little bit harder. And also, if Thor 2 gets both viruses, it's harder to get them off of him. They're agreeing Sif is still incinerated. They don't know where the token went, but. Benjamin, please do not. I have no interest in becoming one.
I don't need a Marvel copy there.
No, none of that. Sif is healthy still. She has 2 health, but on the healthy side.
Getting down to about 15 minutes apiece.
That sounds right. Yeah, the tabling is getting harder now. Like every turn that goes by, and Eric still has some healthy models. The tabling is.
I mean, they both do. Yes, but Mike is really much more in a position where he's going to have to.
Yes.
Points wise.
Like the VPs are really starting to add up here on Eric's side.
And especially Bill still having that extract.
Yep.
Although there's like at this point there's really no pressure to activate Loki.
No.
So
I kind of expect a Thor 2 activation out of DeLuca.
okay.
I don't know what I do with it, but I think that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you give him the direction. He's got to figure out the details.
Yes. So can pounce and punch Sif. She is on fire. Probably has cover? Question mark. Again, we don't know the shape of that orb very well, but seems
Sure
likely
looks like it.
there would be cover there.
Were
Both
you
of our
paying
players
attention-
have such steady hands. I keep hearing like, camera frozen? Camera frozen?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, it's impressive.
They're just surgeons.
Were you watching that measurement for like this current with range 3 to Sif?
Briefly.
Did it look like close enough that he could pick up the viruses from there?
Yes, to me. Yes, it does look like.
Because it's like it's slightly shorter than the 3. It's about the medium.
Yeah, it's like a tiny bit shorter
Sorry,
than
that's
medium.
illegal knowledge.
Oh. Don't worry, there's no cops.
Well, this is AMG doesn't want you to know that.
I mean, pouncing and hitting Sif is good. It's the best way to not let the VPs get totally out of hand.
It really is sort of just putting Thor in the perfect spot for Jane to come from around, though.
Absolutely. That's the downside of this one. But Mike's just in a very tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, if Sif keeps the viruses.
State Siren, no. They definitely remember the Incinerate when Sif was being attacked last turn. She was 4 down to 3 for sure. I think it just got moved off the table and they were moving activation tokens and got it back before it mattered. So punching Sif, still in the Loki Or. She doesn't get crits. And 2 dice because incinerated. Block 1, reduce 1, take 1. Ouch. Not getting her in 1 is just real.
Yeah, you do not have the actions to be spending on this.
Nope. Clocks are basically exactly 14 minutes each. So very even on clock, but we're getting to the end of it. I think this was a walk hit, now the pounce. I had that backwards.
I guess that's
Needs to block a lot here. Dead.
Oh, we're not supposed to say dead. Dazed.
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 Yes.
For all of our radio listeners.
No, I care very much about those people. I'm just.
Sif has been dazed.
There's the camera again.
That's interesting. It's flashing the commentator cam. We've gone on a journey. The video's back.
Yep, ignore that. Just hitting the wrong buttons. Everything's fine here. We back.
We went to an accurate screen.
Oh, yeah, so the stun on Thor and his low power means you can only pick up one. So
Loki should be able to. Yeah, Loki's still got power for the other.
But I think Eric's going to see if he can grab this before Loki gets an activation. Trying to stay out of the Loki bubble, I'm guessing, was what this measurement is. Eric's build could also just walk and grab this, too. He's got this 2 power, so if he just wants the face tank.
That looks plenty close for a walk bridge, though, or like a charge bridge.
Yep. I'm glad Nathan got my reference. Nathan, stick together. So bridge, then charge. Oh, he was measuring to stay outside the bubble for the charge, so he'd have to spend 4 to charge. Coming to stand on the virus. Can he be outside of 4? Okay, so a lot of complicated measuring here, but it should be doable. Outside of Loki bubble, on the virus, in range to throw things at Thor 2. That spot looks like it exists. I mean, we got arms and terrain in the way, but. Okay, outside of 4 Loki, within 1 of the virus. Everything's good here. First punch into Thor 2. 6 physical dices. She had a bunch of power when she got stunned, and then the power phase happened.
Yeah.
Five successes, 3 damage. I think I see a wild there for the throw as well.
Looks like it. Is this one omnidirectional too?
No, this is away.
This is away.
Traditional Thor style. Thor is done, so only gets 1 power here. Will take the throw. Take 1 more on Thor. Bill has to dodge. Bill has to dodge. Bill has to dodge. Maybe they didn't contact? It seems.
They did.
Oh, that's dead. Those are definitely contacting. Bill missed the dodge there. Huh.
Went okay. Eric with the understatement.
Picking up both viruses, it looks like, with the power she got from the punch. So forgetting to get power for his charge, but spending 3 to pick up. So she's actually, with the 2 extra she got from being stunned, but the not getting here, she's 1 below where she's supposed to be.
Exciting.
So we've mostly righted the ship.
Now we just have a Bill short of dodge.
Yes. Mike's Bill could have more damage on him, but long day.
I don't know.
Long day. Bill, the power didn't matter because Jane didn't get power for her builder there when she punched Thor. So in the end, it balanced out. Actually, ended up negative for Jane.
Toluca going into the tank to find his out.
Does feel bad.
What he's got.
Yeah.
Seems hard.
That is not a concession
Yeah,
shake. Both players are saying this has been a very hell of a game and having fun. Game's still going. That was not. You guys don't have mics.
This is a handshake for fun.
You guys got to do that off camera. We'll put that in our streaming recommendations for next time.
Don't believe the handshakes.
We'll just lean way over to the right of the camera.
We need a blur button.
Just big slack sensor bar. You don't know what they're doing under there. No, Alyssa, it was Rainbow Bridge. It was Rainbow Bridge, charge, punch, walk away.
So,
that's a frozen
that
camera.
again. It's a tall order to get these viruses.
Bill striking Bill.
Bill on Bill violence.
Reduce takes one. DeLuca's Bill did not take damage because they forgot to roll his part of the collision. So I guess he blocked all of it. And
Yeah, well, that's what we're going with.
but yes, Bill probably would have more power than this, but they missed the collision on Bill. Aggressive from Eric's Bill to come closer. They were checking the size, agreeing. Definitely was within 2, not trying to nudge it away from Bill. So punch a Bill again. So 4 successes, 1 block, reduce 1, takes 2.
He's still sitting on Odin, that's right.
And that puts him at Odin's power.
Yeah, that's kind of perfect math-wise.
Yep. Can aggress again here. I don't know if there's anywhere spicy to get, but
Yeah, I mean, he might be able to get to that point. Yeah.
yeah, it comes down on the point, save an action later.
That's it.
Throw the size 3. So this is 4 collisions. Blocks 2, can reduce 1, take 1. Ooh, and that is Bill.
It's the Bill trying to attack Bill experience you expect.
Bill's going back into Bill.
Finish this game how we started. Mirrored activations.
No damage. DeLuca saying Bill should be stunned. Eric didn't see the wild, but is accepting. Yeah, probably happened. No problem. So Eric's Bill is stunned if this cup pops off. That's 4 successes. Jane reroll. 4 successes. Block 1, reduce 1, take 2. And stun back. The Bills are stunning each other. Here's the aggressive. Try to get closer and then get thrown. Probably back the way he came is my guess. Or that way, yeah. Similar.
It's a little more towards some terrain.
Yeah, but just keeping away from Jane.
Yeah,
is
that's
really
really like
and now Loki's in a bad spot. And Eric's going to have priority.
He's fully off.
Very far away from relevancy.
Far.
Yeah, so just double walking, trying to get a point if he can. I don't even think he can.
Yeah. Not quite.
Asgard scores nothing.
Asgard scores nothing. That's right.
4 for Eric.
Now 3-13.
Yep. Sounds like Jane's thinking about running.
Yeah.
Getting cleanup stuff happening still. So here's the flip of Jane. Oh, sorry, the flip of Sif. Sif is flipped to her. Yeah, I'm sorry, Torbjorn. Yep, Jane's running away. Getting to the corner of the board, getting some models out of the way.
Jane going to the place we cannot see.
We can, I mean,
Or
if it matters, we'll hide the
Yeah,
caster cam. I'll give
it's
you guys
fine.
a visual.
There's a model down there holding 2 viruses.
There
Don't
she
forget.
is. And a bunch more red capes. Hey,
More
look at the
capes.
red cape. Look at the red cape.
Oh, look at the red cape. I've seen that model. I just lied earlier. Well, that's the other Loki. That doesn't count.
That's Loki. Well, Loki 1 doesn't have a cape.
He does.
He's got like a long coat.
It's a cape.
It's not a cape. It's not. It's
All long coats are capes.
oh boy.
All hot dogs are sandwiches.
Great. Loki walks, pays 2 to punch Bill with counting blanks. 5 successes from Loki. Good swing.
It's
No
pretty good
crits.
defense. Oh.
Spend 1 to take 1. Oh, the hexed Bill takes 1. That's
Oh,
Loki's
gosh.
activation. Holy boy.
Yeah, Bill's just hanging out.
Bad, 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 bad.
Yeah.
Pat
Bill
doing
goes
violence
into
on
a
the
corner.
roller
and-
coaster kid. Oh boy, I'm kind of glad this is our last game, so chat is not debating coats and capes
Oh,
for the next
see?
couple hours.
No, there's no debate. We're done. Loki 1 has a cape.
Bill, maximum run. Yeah, Mike's gonna try to,
Trying to kill
Kill
Bill
Bill.
for fun.
but Sif can stand on a point and Eric wins, so mostly just for funds. Bill backing up to be on a point while he does it. Throwing the gunshot. 6 dice, reroll 2 into Bill.
He finally gets it done against the other Bill.
Yep. Sif on 1,000,000 power.
Loki with 3 health.
So probably out of range to double walk to the far point. So she has to get one of these 2 models off the point they're on, but has a push on her builder. So 2 swings at that.
I think
And even if this fails, I think Eric's looking for next
he's
turn. But
rocking for a spender here.
Loki dies.
Yeah.
Spender dies. Short advance. Walk, win. Good
There you
game.
go. Actually, the end of the game.
I'm done, except for player interviews.
All that's left are red capes.
All right.
Well, that was not the way that we expected the Asgard mirror to go.
No one expected this to
No.
come out this way. But you definitely see Eric's, like, he definitely had a early investment in scenario points. Like, Bill ran off to the game to go get a point and bring it back. And that mattered a good bit. Like, maybe that exact not point,
Yeah.
but you can see one player went for scenario, one player went for violence,
Right.
and how that worked out. And I mean, that was a very low amount of violence for how many dice were rolled. Like, there were some, on both sides, the
Yeah,
offense
absolutely.
dice were, like, abysmal.
And the defense
We
was
saw
good,
so
yeah.
many Thor attacks that just didn't amount to anything. The
Yeah, there was, like-
Janes did way more than the Thors
For
did.
sure, yeah. The James did most of the work. Well, even like, yeah, Eric definitely went harder on scenario, and even had spots where he like clearly, toned it back slightly.
Yeah, yeah,
To like, you got to find the right balance of violence versus scenario to match your opponent, right? Well,
yep,
like
totally.
still saying keeping the advantage if that's what you're trying to do, but not necessarily dedicating 100% to the scenario side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Not sure what situations. This was. So we talked about this. This was when the Bill
yeah,
threw
the
a
Bill,
hammer
exactly.
instead of
This
walk
is-
twice.
And that's actually what I was talking about. Of like,
Yeah.
he could have walked to that point, saved the power, and gotten an extra scenario point out of it.
and gotten brothers.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
also
Yes.
cost him the Rainbow Bridge Brothers turn. So that was a big costly mistake that he managed to recover from. But yeah, I mean, Marvel's a game of adapting.
Yep.
Nobody knows how a game of Marvel's going to go. It is a wild game. Usually the player who wins is the player who adapts to fucking wild-ass situations better.
Yeah. It's fun to see, even after the finals, they're sitting down and talking about the little interactions in this game.
Yes.
Because, like, when I played Eric yesterday, we were talking about Eric just kept apologizing for Asgarding me. I was like, no, it's fine. Really, I knew this is what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the thing that I value about this is getting to talk about the game.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's not always a thing that everyone wants to do, which is totally fair.
No.
But, like, that was one of the things that I really like about minis games, and that, like, is the interesting part of Marvel to me. It's
Totally.
like,
And I think this shows that like this matchup has a lot of interesting decisions to be made.
absolutely.
And it's all like micro decisions, right? There's not like big strategy-wise, you're kind of doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, it's straightforward, just bonk bonk. But there's all the micro decisions at a high level is what wins you games, right? Nobody's going to make giant blunders
Right.
in an event this big, this late, right? And it's just who can edge out more little bits and pieces of advantage and take those into a win.
Well, and, like, yeah, some of those micro decisions you're making, even though you have, like, the same high-level plan with the models that you're playing, like, if you don't have priority, you probably have to skew a little more towards the scenario side of things, just like Eric did.
Totally, 100%.
And it's fun to see that adaptation.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's a complex matchup.
Absolutely. There are dice involved, and sometimes they just blow out the complexity, but this time they kind of let it play out.
Yeah, and I think they're
That's what I'm
talking about, I've only been able to half follow, but I also think they're talking about, which I agree with, that like DeLuca could have put more pressure onto Eric's Jane,
Okay.
and getting Jane out of here was a big deal, right? And Eric and I have been playing a lot of Asgard. I liked Jane a lot more than at release. I was big team Jane. It's
Okay.
good to have on your roster, better in the mirror than Loki is, good into Thanos, worth having. Now we're at the point where Eric thinks that, in Eric mode, Loki 2 sucks, and you should just always play Jane. And there's like a few matchups where Loki 2 is better, but Jane is actually
It's
just
the
the better
default,
model,
yeah.
the better leader for what this list wants to do. And we saw that in this matchup, like, she did so
much
much
work.
collateral damage
Yeah.
that Loki 2 doesn't, right? He does his pings, he does little bits here and there, but like the big explosive turns is what Jane specializes in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Loki 2 still has seems like he has his place into, like, much wider teams.
Yes,
where
totally.
there's just, like, a lot more dice happening, and you can ping people. And the, single point here, single point there adds up.
Yeah.
But,
I think in this type of matchup, you just want big explosive activations. And when your Thors let you down, having a Jane. And you see, I mean, DeLuca is obviously understands this too, right? Like,
Right.
he also
Well, he
brought a
played
Jane.
Jane, yeah.
Right, nobody's getting suckered there. But I think this match really showed why Jane is a really good model.
Are you sure you want me to do interviews? Are you asking me to do interviews? Because I
Yes.
didn't watch the game.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Never mind, get out of here. Be gone, fool. So I think we're going to get at least Eric on the mic here, possibly, or sorry, yes, Eric on the mic, DeLuca if he wants to be.
Okay,
You know,
sure.
after a loss, I don't know how people feel.
Yeah.
But we'll try to get them on here to talk about this a little bit, the roster matchup, run through the tournament, all that stuff. I don't want to, they're
Yeah,
clearly
let
having
them
a
do
very
their
fun
thing.
conversation there
DeLuca was talking about being proud that he now has a first place, second place, and third place trophy
for LVO.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a fun stat.
He's got the full bronze, silver, gold.
Yeah. Good old rolling dice to see what would have happened at the end
They're
of the
head
game.
simming the fuck
It's,
out. I have no idea where they're at.
Yeah.
They're deep somewhere in the tank. And I love it.
Yeah. That's always fun.
So, yeah, besides these interviews we're going to do here, we are done for the day and for the weekend. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for all your chat and support and watching. I hope you all had a good time. We will have VODs up. The VODs are automatically up. I believe at some point Vince wants to chop these up into like a video per game so they're easier to find and navigate.
That'd be nice.
But it is all on YouTube now if you want. But, yeah, I think that. But don't go anywhere if you want to hear smart people talk about this game because we got two geniuses.
Eric's
that'll be
always
on.
a riot to talk to about the game. He's got insight and opinions, and
If
it's
you,
always
I mean,
interesting.
by listening to our podcast, I
Yeah.
think you like strong, wild opinions.
Yeah,
Like, if
yeah.
you think Vince takes are fun, Eric is
Eric
very
take-
much on a
yes.
similar page. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He loves black and white thinking and big takes and that kind of thing. So I'm very excited. I know
Yeah. It sounds fun.
he's got big opinions on Asgard too. So.
Yeah, I don't know that, like, I'm sure he's happy to win. I'm not sure he's thrilled to be winning with Asgard.
Nah, he doesn't care. He likes winning.
He likes winning.
He wishes Asgard was a little bit more interesting to play. I know that much.
Yeah.
But he's not a faction loyalist. Never has been.
No, I mean, I get that. But, like, you know, I think given the option, I think he would prefer to be here with Defenders.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean,
yes.
yes.
But he clearly was not thrilled with how the GT went, and it's paid off.
Yeah. I won't regret his choice at all, that's for sure.
We did yesterday talk about the only thing stopping a bad guy with a Thor 2 is a good guy with a Thor 2.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's, I don't know who's who here.
I don't know if
today,
I call Eric a good guy.
Yeah, well, okay, that's fine.
I can say that. He's my friend.
Eric might have been the bad guy. The only thing that could have stopped his Thor 2 was another Thor 2.
And the good Thor 2 failed, so now the bad Thor 2.
Yeah, I think this is the first Thor mirror he's played today.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've had a bunch of kaiju fights, but this is the first Thor 2 on Thor 2.
So, yeah, anyone, it's a matter of perspective. Yeah, I don't think either of them have Thor 1 in their roster, do they?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
Here's the secret to playing Asgard. You play Thor 2 every game, no matter the situation. No crisis, threat level, doesn't matter. You play Thor 2.
Okay.
So why would you?
I can do that. Yeah, why would you take Thor 1?
You can't take Thor 1. I
fair.
also think even if the alias rule didn't exist, I would still play Jane. I think Jane is better because of the rerolls.
I think I think you could end up in a world where you would want the tech
stagger.
option for the
Yeah.
anti-stagger.
You might put her in the 10, but it's. I really like Jane. But yeah, it's close.
I think there are people that really like sort of the slot machine aspect of Thor 1. And
Sure.
you know what? Jane lets you play 2 slot machines. And then clear stagger.
I guess, yeah, if I think about there's no alias rule and your 16 is just like Jane, Thor. I'd play the fuck out of that. All right.
Yeah, that's a special kind of degenerate.
That'd be fucked.
That's our new format. Will they let us run a GT like that? Probably not. But it's not any worse than Unlimited or whatever it's
Extended.
called. Extended.
Yes. Someday we're going to run extended format GT. All your drop-offs. Come get your drop-off. All you got. Field dressings.
That sounds like a disaster.
Oh, God. It's going to be awful. And not a thing that'll actually happen.
Yeah.
I'm lying to everyone's faces. But the GT packet does say just pick a timeline.
A timeline, but don't pick timelines. Just pick a timeline. Sharpening your crayons. I think that matches how Eric feels.
I think that's what he would say.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's how he feels.
I don't know if that's how he feels.
But that's what he would say.
I've not been inside the soul of Eric.
I don't want to.
But he kept saying he didn't make any decisions during our game.
I mean, yeah, he does. I mean, so I think also, I think this game is really interesting. I know some of the other games that Eric has played have not been.
Okay,
and
sure.
it's just like, Thor punches the closest model to him. Is it dead? No, punch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just making the most obvious choices here. But this wasn't that.
Right. But I think this game had sort of a thing that I've seen him do a bunch that I haven't watched a ton of Asgard players.
Yeah.
But he has an interesting willingness to sort of put Thor out there.
Yes.
And see what happens.
Yes.
Like it happened in the bots game. It happened in his game against me.
Yep.
He usually has a really good sense of how that part of the game will flow, I think.
Totally. I mean, so much of this game is a risk-reward evaluation, and while a lot of players are minimize risk at all costs, right? And Eric can be that too, but I am fascinated to see him playing this, where he's much more willing to just I'll tank with my face a bit. Maybe it blows up on me, but if it doesn't, I'm in a great position.
Well, I think Odin's does sort of give you an interesting ability to do
Odin's
that.
recal brace, that combination. All right, I'm gonna see what their interest is in interviews.
I'm gonna let you do that.
Okay.
Right.
Don't go anywhere, chat. I'm coming right back.
Nate's coming back. Thank you all for sticking in here. I'm sorry they made me do the finals. Should have gotten bots, but it's been fun. So have fun chatting with Eric.
Why I'm a moron in the game. I'm really mad about I'll tell you about the play, and I hated it after I threw the hammer. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm really dumb. And in the middle of his turn, he's like, man, that hammer was really bad. I'm like, I know, it was so bad. Please, let's just move past it.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely talked about that one on stream some too, right?
Yeah,
Just like how
ouch.
much you gave up not being able to Rainbow Bridge, not getting to play Brothers, all because of the one hammer throw really
Yeah.
set you back a bunch, right? But like, before we get into that, like, so you did something I don't think anyone saw coming, which is just like, what if Thor 2 walks into the midline and just flops himself out there?
And just says, fucking fight me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty likely that his Thor is going to be able to walk and punch you, and then with Prio, punch you more.
So at the time, we were both discussing that, like, the nose, you couldn't see around the nose.
Oh, right. So
And
you
so,
thought it
like,
would block line of sight.
Yeah, we both were like, all right, it blocks line of sight.
Okay.
You can't see around it.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can block off the turn 1 punch. So his Thor is just double walking to the mid.
Oh,
Or
okay.
double walking to set up
Okay.
line of sight. And so,
And then you just have to survive the top of next turn,
Exactly.
which Recal, Brace, Odin's all pretty
yeah,
likely.
I have enough. Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Okay.
well, the worst part is, like, that's why I told him, I looked at him like, all right, it's fucking gamble time. Like, I'm already behind.
Okay.
Of priority, which is one of the most important things in the mirror match is
Yep.
priority.
Yep.
And so I have to make something unnatural happen.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you have to upset the status quo somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I say I do the normal thing and that I just cloud out and stand not on the back point but like ready to retaliate, the exact same thing's going to happen, but I don't have a virus at the top one.
Yeah.
And so, or also he's just going to be able to, like, all right, move last with his Thor, double walk to the mid, pick up the thing, and be in range of my Thor, or for the top of the next turn.
Yeah.
While having an advantage. The only thing that nets me is that his Thor is on fire.
Oh,
And
sure.
like the
yeah.
worst thing possible is like, okay, his Thor's on fire, but also he still has priority. He's gonna double tap and like do a bunch of damage.
Yeah.
And then just pounce backwards.
Yes.
And then I have to spend the entire game chasing him.
Right.
Which, like, I can do it with bridge, I guess.
But it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and also I blow all of my resources just getting there.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, Thor will be on 4 turn 2.
Okay.
I spend 3 to get close enough. I possibly am within range 3.
Sure.
And then it's kind of close, and
Yeah.
we saw during the game that the Thor is actually just like sucked.
Yeah.
Both of our Thors, like every time we're like, all right, big Thor activation.
No.
We each whiffed an attack on our first 2 Thor activations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty unnatural.
Totally.
And
But it was
like,
definitely on both sides. Was part of the funny part. It's just
Yeah.
like neither Thor did anything impressive this game.
yeah, which is advantage me because he's the one who got to go first.
Yes.
So
Yep,
like,
totally.
yeah, and like the Loki versus Sif game was kind of awkward. Like the big thing is that like my Thor got a bunch of Electro Leaps and like my Jane went nuts, his didn't.
Yeah.
It's like we both had number 1 hitter, number 2 hitter, and my number 2 hitter went off where his just kind of didn't.
Yeah. Did
And
okay,
so-
but nothing crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would like to say I did something innovative or like thoughtful, and like it wasn't. I
mean,
there's
think
a lot of luck in the game, and
there's
like
absolutely a lot of luck in the game, but I think you made smart decisions. We were talking about this too, that just like realizing as the non-priority player who's not going to get priority for a little while, that like building an extract, like a VP lead, is a way out of that game, right?
Yeah.
And like, especially when his attack dice start failing, that VP lead, because everybody at the start of the game is like, oh, points aren't going to matter, right? They're like, why would Bill go all the way up there and get a point? It's not going to matter. And then like
Yeah.
by turn 3 happens, it's like, oh, he's got a big VP hole here. And like
Yeah.
you still have enough healthy characters that a full table
can't table
is
me.
getting really hard,
Yeah.
right? And so you get this ticking clock going that I do think was clever, right? Like I do think that was an interesting approach to offset not having prio, because obviously you'd rather be the prio player
yeah,
in this
then
matchup.
it's just easy game, go straight through the opponent. But
Yeah.
like you have to start doing weird shit when you're behind.
Yep.
Just you find some way to add to make your opponent put the onus on them to try to win the game. And like, sure, the beta ray bill going out, like it would not have been a mistake
Yes.
if I don't throw the hammer.
Yes, if you
'Cause-
double walk.
Yeah, because the correct play is like, because I was assuming my Thor was going to die at the top of the next turn, right?
Yep.
That like, okay, yeah, I think everyone watching is like, that's a dead Thor.
Yes,
Like 100%.
Yep, totally.
Like even through Odin's, even through all that stuff, like that's a dead Thor. And so like I didn't think about that. I was like, I was trying to soften up the counterattack.
Yep.
And shocking the bill.
Yep.
Like really removes a lot of his efficacy for non-hammer attacks.
Totally.
You basically
Absolutely.
return him down to just throwing, which his build did have a decent amount of power, but that's going to run out eventually. Like after 2 throws, he's going to be pretty spent.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll walk up here, I'll roll an extra dice, And at some point, most games come down to, like, they're trying to kill your bill, or you're trying to kill a bill.
Totally.
Because someone has something.
Yeah.
And, like, my bill had a thing. I'm like, well, I'll throw a hammer. Eventually, I'll shock his bill, do a little bit of damage, and then be ready for the second wave next turn.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, a bunch of people in chat want to know. I kind of explained it. Why aren't you playing Defenders? You're Mr. Portals. You're the Portal Man. Where are the Portals?
Mr. Portal Man, I am. Yeah. So, Portals are still great, but also the Asgard matchup sucks for Defenders. And, like, I'm finally right. Like, I've been fighting you on forever on this, that Daredevil sucks. And I'm finally willing to say that, like, at the time, he was kind of okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm definitely right. He definitely sucks now.
He's real bad into Asgard, for sure.
He's really bad into – so the way the metagame is shaping out, right? If you look at the top 4, it's a bunch of kaiju fights.
Yeah.
And that's where Daredevil's not really at his best, right?
Correct. Yeah,
He's like,
totally.
well, he helps, like, give you firepower into those kaiju fights.
Yes.
But he himself, his personal output is low, and you want to be able to – and when you're playing the Portals thing, when you start with Daredevil and Wong, you are kind of artificially increasing your size. Sometimes you want to be able to fight for priority.
Yes.
Instead of being 4 wide, your opponent goes 3 and they just stomp you.
Yep.
So I was trying to avoid that. And yeah, I played in the RCQ or the RC, the GT. Thank you.
Yep.
The day before, and like I played one legit mirror match, and that was a fun, great game. And then it was 4 straight Asgards, or like 4 straight things plus Thor.
Yeah.
And so, and each time, like I played without a leader. And, like, at some point, I was like, dude, I just want a leadership. Like, I didn't even want a good one. Just, like, give me a leadership.
Yeah.
And so, like, you can play good your way out of a lot of stuff. But, like, at some point, so I played good out of my first 2 rounds. And, like, I felt like my opponents played through a couple of traps that I was able to exploit and, like, do pretty well in. And then I played against Mike. And I played against another guy named Zero Cool.
Oh, yeah, the Arthur guy. Who's really
Arthur
good at
guy.
Asgard.
Like, super nice guy. Played really well, super tight.
He's a great player.
But also playing Asgard. And so, like, in those things, and like, at a point where I'm like, I need some raw power, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you can't play good your way out of everything.
Yes.
Like, I need some raw power to draw me through, like, good players. Like, because there's a bunch of people, like, at my skill level or, like, way above.
Yeah.
And, like, that's exactly when you need your list of, like, all right, at some point, we're going to help pick up and carry you.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really –
especially if those good players are also playing that raw
exactly.
power. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You can have a bunch of cool tricks, but if they're good players, they can move around it, and then you just don't have the punch that they do.
Yeah, exactly. You're just playing an underpowered version, and you're bringing a knife to a gunfight, and that's never fun.
No,
So,
definitely not.
Hopefully they change a couple of things about like, some of the kaiju.
We all be hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, but
do you think you're going to keep playing Asgard? Are you going back to Defenders? Are you playing something else?
so. So Mike beat the ever-loving Defenders out of me.
Oh, right. So you guys met in the GT, right?
Yeah, we met in the GT.
With you playing Defenders, and
he
smashed you, is what I've heard.
Wow, smashed.
That's what
right
I've
in
heard.
The
I didn't see it.
It was close.
Okay, all right.
I had a shot.
Okay,
like,
all right.
Namor needed to Spender a Jane, who was on 2.
Yep.
The explosion from Octopus. I can't remember. I never remember
yeah, it's
the name.
Octopus.
It does 1 damage to a Loki, who's on 1, killing him.
Great.
And then I have to charge and kill a Thor, who's on 3.
Okay.
And then there's nothing left on the table.
Okay.
And
okay.
so I was
that's
like,
close.
we
that's
got
close.
a shot. We had a chip. We had a chair.
Yeah.
And the first thing I was like, rolled 7 on the first one, crushed it, easy game.
Yep.
The explosion killed the Loki. Awesome. Feels great.
Yep.
Charge, roll a 1. Hate your life. And then that's what happened. And then, like, Thor got to activate and ate everything else on the table. So
what are you playing next?
So after that, I was like, all right, I'm definitely 100% not defendering.
Yeah.
And, like, the only reason I even played any Asgard before this was that, like, we wanted games locally against the Boogeyman.
Yes. Yep. Helping
so,
other
like,
people prep for Asgard.
Yeah, like, I was pretty parsed into playing defenders here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I'll just play Asgard and play them for a little while. And, like, let's do that.
Yep.
Just so friends get a chance to play against it. And then I ended up, like, winning majority of those games. And then, like, even me not being super practiced with them, like, the raw power level was just so high that, like, it was able to gloss over. So I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, you made mistakes. But also, like, I rolled 9 when I attacked with Thor.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great way to make, like, things not a mistake when you roll hot as the sun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I was just able to parlay, like, that knowledge. And so I'm like, all right, let's just take the list that I was playing for our
For the testing.
for
Yep.
testing
Yep.
and run it. And so through the course of the event, our friend Ron Tolentino,
Yeah. Yep.
like in discussions with him, like we really came to understanding of like what I should be doing, and I really should be like. So I only played like 5 models from the entire Asgard roster the entire weekend.
Okay.
So I played the 3, the leader, Beta Ray Bill, Thor,
Yep.
and then also Sif and Zemo.
Okay.
Those
yeah.
are the only models I played the entire weekend. Oh, also, sorry, I did play one game with Thanos, and it was pretty sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the van. Like he's,
Oh.
I told Nobility about like, all right, so in round 4, I'm playing against Cabal.
Okay.
I'm doing the math,
Yep.
and like he literally can't get 3 wide at 18.
Okay.
So he rolled Gamma Hammers,
Okay.
and I'm second, and I'm on the draw.
Okay. Yep.
And
Opponent has
so,
priority.
yeah, my opponent has priority, and I was like, oh, he's expecting 15. And I'm like, no, nailed it, 18. And he's like, wait, you can't play. Okay, sure. And
Yeah.
so I went Thanos, Thor 2, and Beta Ray Bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 wide keeps brothers.
3
Don't have a
wide, and I was able to
leadership,
steal
but-
priority.
Yep.
And in that matchup, it's so important.
Yes, totally. Especially if your opponent isn't prepared for that, right? Like if they're expecting you to also go 4 wide, right? The squad and the way they unpack it could be very different, and then it's just like, get got.
Yeah, them on
There's
priority,
some 12
4
dice
wide
Thor
versus
builders
me.
for you to
Yeah.
enjoy.
And that's basically what happened is like actually like at the top of the next turn, I killed a character and I did enough damage to the rest of the stuff so that like the top of the third, the third turn,
Yeah.
the entire team was dead. Like Thanos, all 4 characters are dead. And I was like, yeah, all right, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Asgard.
One activate, yeah, exactly. Like, Asgard brothers, kill your Thanos and do enough electro leaps and stuff to kill like 3 characters. So
I mean, we were talking about
or
this
not
too.
kill them, but like daze or kill. And,
Yeah.
Zemo actually did die, so.
That like we were trying to figure out, okay, does Mike play Asgard into Asgard, or does he play Cabal into Asgard? And us in the chat all kind of like, it feels like Cabal has enough output, but is so glass cannony, right? Like so many
Yeah.
of the Cabal supporting models that aren't Thanos are can be victimized by Thor 2's leaps and his collisions and throws and stuff like that, right? And so I really like the Thanos 18 list because it means your ability to kill Thanos goes way up,
Oh, yeah.
right? 12 dice builder into a 10 dice spender or another 10 dice builder is a great way to put Thanos down. And then you just kill all this other squishy stuff at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's goofy, but I think that's legitimately a sick way to deal with that.
Yeah, so the Thanos on Thanos thing is kind of funny. So the Thanos with Mind, so both of the Cabal players I had the Mind and
space.
Space. And so that one is better when you have a scenario lead.
Yeah.
So like you free grab or you have some way to get a scenario lead turn 1 or 2, and you can protect it really well with him.
Yeah.
And in the Thanos on Thanos fight, you could make my Thanos basically do nothing every
Yes.
turn using
Yeah.
like all the
Yep.
portals and pushes and all that stuff.
Yep.
But if I have a scenario lead and it comes down to punching, the SR is like you're able to push your way through it. And that's really what happened in that Cabal game is that it came down to like, okay, I killed a Red Skull at the top of his turn who had 2 hammers. I pick it up with Thanos. His Thanos has 1 hammer. His Thanos has to kill one round my Thanos or the game's over.
Seems hard.
And like it can happen.
Totally.
But also Red Skull is dead. It was dead at this point.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so he lost like
Yep.
all of his punch.
Yep. We saw that same thing happen in DeLuca's round 5, where he managed to get a hold of Red Skull 3 early and kill him, and then the Mindspace Thanos attacks
Yeah, he
just
just
were
folds.
not exciting.
Like he doesn't. He
It's
really
not
doesn't.
8 threat worth
it's
of
not
damage.
8 threat worth of stuff.
Yeah.
He's still okay, but
no,
like,
totally. But
not 8
it's,
threat.
yeah, that same thing happened. If you can get a hold of that guy, the Mindspace Thanos feels way worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay, well, you won a bunch of games. Congratulations.
hooray.
Hopefully
Hopefully Thor gets nerfed and I can go back to Defenders where I can actually like know what I'm doing better.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it feels weird to ask people what we're going to play next because I think literally every person's answer is, I'll let you know when the crisis change happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that could totally shake a bunch of stuff up. I do want to note, okay, let's talk about the last couple tournaments you've attended real quick so I can
Okay.
brag about my friends.
All right, yeah.
So LVO, you
Yeah.
won.
Yes.
You went to Second Wind,
Yes.
which you won.
Yeah.
You went to CarlCon, which you won.
Yes.
You went to the NorCal Classic, which you won.
Yeah.
Every time we've gotten you in a final that ends up on Vince's channel, you've won.
Yeah.
You got to stop being afraid of being on camera. Just to stream all of your games. You're
I know, but,
unbeatable.
like, let's look at the track record of doing something gigantic. Like, okay, that was the worst hammer in human history.
But you won.
Yeah. And so the one thing I I did learn is to try to have a better mindset about it. Like,
Sure.
that's something like so the reason I don't really like being on camera is like before I was on for a bunch of Magic stuff.
Yes.
And I have terrible anxiety.
Sure.
And like
yeah.
horrible flop sweat, and like for a bunch of tournaments, every time I was on camera, I would immediately lose.
Yes.
And it was because like I couldn't get in my brain of like, okay, every time I do something stupid, they're gonna know. Like the entire world's gonna know.
Yeah. 100
right?
people are laughing at me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's exactly what like. So it started to get in my head a little bit.
Okay,
When
yeah.
I like as soon as I walked and I threw the hammer, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Yes.
And like Mike was like, oh, it's not that bad. Like I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the middle of our next turn, he's like, yeah, that was a not good hammer. And I was like, oh, please, can we just not? Yeah, please.
Yeah.
No more talking. Hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So how did you adjust your mindset to deal with this kind of thing better, right? Because you definitely recovered from that point in this game.
It sounds really arrogant and ridiculous, but I just assume that I'm going to win, that the things that I need to happen to win are going to happen. It's like,
Interesting. Okay.
I need to spike this dice roll for me to win.
Yes.
And like I just assume it's going to happen, or
Okay,
like
okay.
I look at the most ideal way out of everything,
Okay.
and like it's taking the pessimist in me, and it's like
Interesting,
instead of
yeah.
thinking of like, all right, what happens if I fail this?
Okay.
I was like, no, I've already kind of played myself into a hole. I have to go for some things where sometimes things might not be like a little bit dicey or not in my favor.
Yeah.
Or like if I need this 20%er to keep on going,
If I got to dig out of this hole, I got
Yeah.
to look up at the sunlight, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so we're just doing like, okay, like I'm gonna hit this 20%er and we're gonna be right in it. And so like. I was like, and it comes up, I was like, oh, naturally, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I need to keep on going. So
Okay.
we're good.
All right.
And it's just like, even though just finding a way to forget past mistakes and just try
Yes.
to move past and
Yeah.
just make your best plays from that point forward.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah.
I know on a very similar note, I don't know if you saw Bots has his little list of affirmations
Yeah.
that he reads between games. One of them on there is just like, if you're reading this during a game, it means something has gone bad. And so just try to forget everything that happened and pretend you just walked up to the table.
Yeah,
right?
like just approach it like a
toss
puzzle.
It all. Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I do. Is like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all right, it's a puzzle. How do you figure out how to get out of this?
Yes.
Like
There's a solution somewhere.
yeah,
Can
like
you find
no
it?
game is almost ever just completely lost.
Yeah, like turn 6 some
Yeah.
nonsense. But yeah, totally.
Like turn 1 or turn 2, you can find your way out of fucking anything.
Correct.
Like you could
Especially
be,
in this game.
yeah, especially in this game, anything can happen. Like the,
Yeah. Yeah.
the dice are so crazy. Like
Yeah.
the superpowers are so crazy. Like you can find your way out of everything.
Absolutely.
Oh, so one thing that we were talking about that we ended up like I went on a crazy tangent about
Okay.
was
yeah.
where we go from here.
Oh, yeah.
So I was talking to Ron,
Uh-huh.
and like he was playing Inhumans plus a Portal Splash.
Yeah, I saw this list. It's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's fucking sick as shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Thank you so much for playing Portals into me so much that I know how to play it like pretty well."
Yeah.
And he was able to pick it up like very quickly.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like, "All right, if I'm only playing like, sure the Thanos was corner case pretty good, but like I might be able to play good my way out of that and not need the Thanos there."
Oh, right, because you only had the 5 Asgard models, so maybe. Sorry to jump ahead. You're trying to duel with portals, aren't you?
Yeah, nailed it. Exactly. That's where we went. Just like if I just take the thing I was doing before,
Yeah.
and just like, and they share Zemo in common, and they
Okay,
share
yeah.
Valkyrie in common.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I can shove in the other 5. Like, all right, we need a Wong, we need a Hulk,
Yep.
we need a Namor, we need
Yep.
a Shang-Chi. Like
Seems very doable.
very easy to do.
And I think the portals gets really scary if they have to decide, are you portaling them?
Yeah,
Right?
like
the
that was-
rosters they bring into you, if you're portaling or not, could be wildly different.
oh yeah, like that was the scariest thing. Okay, it sounds kind of goofy, but like the Dormammu from Mike, like
Yeah.
I know he's not going to play it.
No,
Like
but he
deep
might.
down, I know he's not going to play it. He's like, but maybe,
But yeah.
maybe I
Yeah.
go 3 wide,
100%.
and just rip your face off.
Yeah.
And like whether or not both of his rosters were very strong into either of my things.
Totally.
So he had all the options.
Yes.
I'm just the big dumb
And like he
retard.
knows what you're going to play. There's
Yeah.
no way he didn't know what 4 models were going to hit the table.
Yeah, like everyone else was trying to hide that they were the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm just the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm just playing the Thor 2.
You're going to play your 3 best models and put a Sif in there to make points. Great.
Exactly.
Love it.
I'm not even playing a leader. I'm like, we're playing the Beta Ray Bill and the Thor.
Yes.
And we figure it out from there.
Then make points. Yep.
And then make points. So, yeah.
How often did you use Hulk? Because Hulk's in your roster.
Very, very rarely. So again, in certain matchups, priority is one of the most important things, and having a stun immune model is actually really important when at 16. And what's
Fisk.
the name of that? Fisk.
Yep.
Yeah. So I played him 0 times because the one time I did run into Fisk, the points weren't 16.
Yep.
But having a good option at 16 for Fisk was why it's there.
Yeah, because I mean, as you mentioned, and just to highlight this, your roster building starts at Brothers in Arms.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I'm going to build a squad. All right, Thor's in there, Bill's in there. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Right, and so like the Hulks and the Thanoses and things like that are to make sure you can get the width you want. Because you, more than any other player I've talked about, cares a lot about wanting to be able to go pick their width and be able to fight for priority and have that kind of options. And so that's largely what Hulk is there for, is specific math when you want to be 30, or I guess at 20 maybe you do like Hulk, Sif, Thor, Bill.
Yeah,
If you need to be 4 wide or something.
Yeah.
But that's what Hulk is for.
That's one of the most important things into the meta as of right now. Is like priority is just such an important tool.
Totally.
All the characters hit so hard that like priority is incredibly hard, and being able to steal that from your opponent when they don't expect it is one of the most powerful things you can do.
Absolutely.
Especially with the brothers thing. Like I didn't really show it in the finals as much as I would like.
You didn't
because
play
it would have
brothers.
been pretty sick at the time I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Because like if my Thor lives there and my brother's right there, the game probably like
huge
is a
swing
lot
for you. Yeah.
it's a lot cleaner.
Yep.
a lot less crazy.
Yep.
But
totally.
well, at least without brothers doing stuff, they made the game more interesting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So most of people think I'm ridiculous, but yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for being on. I think we're going to get Mike on here to talk some too.
Yes,
but,
please.
Congratulations on winning.
Hooray.
Took a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, team. Well, there you go.
Is this one going to fit me? No.
Oh, yeah. Pat also has a huge
Oh, wait.
head,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's probably a little closer, but
yeah, Pat's head's bigger than mine. Alex's head's probably bigger than mine.
my head is fucking massive.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome.
I'm back.
It's like rough draw. Obviously, he sucks to lose, but you had a hell of a weekend.
I'm not
Yeah, I
worried.
mean,
I'm not upset about
I know
it.
you. Like, I don't have to baby you, right?
Yeah,
And, like, you still won the GT.
Yep.
You still won how many games this weekend?
I went 11-1.
That's a pretty good record.
Yeah.
It's hard to be mad about 11-1. You won Everwinter, right? Or just did well?
No,
Okay.
I got fourth.
Fourth. Okay, I know you were on a tear there for sure. Okay, so we
That
have
list at Everwinter was missing Jane, and she was the missing piece.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
We're going to talk about this.
Yeah,
so we knew that you had played a very similar list at
Yeah.
Everwinter, right? Your
Yeah.
Cabal.
It was
Asgard,
identical,
Dormammu.
except Red Skull 2 got swapped for Jane for
Okay,
this weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I was talking about the Eric too. That like, so Eric thinks Jane is just a better model than Loki 2.
Way better.
Are you on that train
Yes.
too now? Okay.
I've always been on that trade. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
especially into the type of tech people bring into Thor 2, right? That's
Yes.
where Jane shines the most.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you thought you're going to bring in a Hulk or an Immortal Hulk or a Thanos?
Yep.
Welcome to Jane Town.
Yes,
And she
correct,
just smashes
yes.
them, right? And we saw in this game, right, that like both of your Thors sucked.
Yes.
They didn't accomplish anything
Yes.
ever.
And his Jane was way better than mine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So the number one question, I want to talk about this game before we get
Real
to that.
quick.
Yeah, please.
Chat can F off.
Okay.
Because we both fucked up that the nose in the middle was size 3.
Yes.
Chat's correct. We're dumb. So I'm just going to clear that now.
Yep. Both players agree to block line of sight.
Yes.
Totally didn't, but if they
Yes.
agree to it.
Yes.
When do you play Dormammu? We've had you on stream
Yes.
like 4 times this
Why
weekend.
is Dormammu in the list?
Yes.
So, Immortal Hulk.
Okay.
And Marefisk.
Okay.
So, I did a Christmas episode with Dave, who's here, the Canada guy.
Oh,
who plays
yeah.
Midnight
Yeah.
Suns. Eric played him in round 1
Okay.
of
Yep.
this event.
Yep.
Basically, I found that if you have to play against iHulk with Asgard, iHulk can just bowling ball your Thor and freaking kill your models.
Sure fucking
and
can.
It's like trash.
Yeah.
So my local Phil was messing around with Dormammu and Weapon X.
Oh yeah.
And
People
he-
saw the comment got excited
Yeah,
about
and
it.
he's like, you can just hold prio all the time.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was like, okay, this seems cool. I still wanted to play Thanos and Cabal because I'm like very comfortable. It's
Yeah,
good.
mhm.
And Asgard's broken.
Yep.
Obviously, clearly, we've done our part of LVO final,
Yeah.
broken Kaiju mirror match.
That was the only
Yes.
theater mirror we had the whole weekend on stream too. So I'm glad we
There-
finally
yeah,
got it.
yeah, it's sifted to the top. You
Yep.
know, go figure. Yeah. So at 16, with the best play is
Okay.
this is why Red Skull 2 was there. So you play Dorm, Red Skull 2, and Weapon X at 16. If you get Marefisk.
Okay. Yeah. That seems great.
So what you can do is because they have senators too,
Hmm.
usually like Dave's list of senators. So like at 19 they play the Fist, Skull, Immortal Hulk, Blade,
Okay. Yep.
and it's like really frustrating to play with Asgard. Like
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
that like goes wrong, everything collapses.
Totally.
Right. Like Red Skull is going to sit in like Mystic Stance and force Thor to like dice him.
Yep.
If
yep.
you miss, you're screwed.
Yep. Totally.
The Hulk bowling balls your team. Like everything sucks. Like
Yeah.
you have to deal with Heroes for Hire, Iron Fist Spender, like bleh. So in comes Dormammu, where he hexes stuff.
Yep.
He Blast Blade off the table.
Totally. Yeah.
You play at 19. You can play Thor with Dormammu. So then like their Red Skull's completely boned. He
Yeah.
like can't do anything.
Yes.
Dormammu also melts Iron Fist.
Yep. Totally.
And Hulk can't throw Dormammu other than the Spender.
Oh yeah, size 5. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
So no bowling.
And Dorm doesn't give a shit about the stun on Fisk.
Oh sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it was weird power
Yes.
trace. Okay. That's sick.
Yeah. And you also have an immortal Weapon X
Okay.
that just like massacres things on the midline.
Okay.
Yes.
So based on your 12 games this weekend, are you making changes to the roster?
No.
Okay.
I
you
don't think I would change
okay.
anything. I didn't play Dorm or Weapon X at all this weekend.
Sure.
I also didn't play against Midnight Suns at all.
Okay. And you
Uh,
didn't feel like you were missing anything in the other 8 characters?
There's like, yeah, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess like Red Skull 2 is like my 11th model.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
There's always one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could maybe like cut Weapon X and just have Zemo in his slot and bring in Red Skull. Like
Sure, yeah.
maybe that's something. But like your wide squad is worse if you want to play like 5 wide.
Okay.
It's like freaking impossible at that point. You have like
Yeah.
6s, 5s, double 8s. Like yeah.
Yeah, you're very committed to being tall at that
yeah.
point.
Weapon X at least can like slot into like a 5 wide Cabal Red Skull team
Totally,
and like kill
yeah.
Web Warriors.
Oh,
in
yeah.
fact, there's maybe a reason I maybe should have played that yesterday against Jacob. But
What would you? Okay. What squad?
you could break Thanos into like Bill and Loki or something. I could have done that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So game you just played.
Yeah.
Really weird game, right? I mean, it's it wasn't. It ended up being a big punch brawl, which we all expected, right? But it was definitely the Thors were not doing what anyone expected. Were you? I'm curious to know. Chad had a bunch of into this. Were you happy to have Loki, or do you think Sif was better? Who had the better squad between the two?
So
of
I
you?
think Loki blocked a lot of crits getting
he sure
rolled
did.
in.
Yep,
His attacks underperformed,
they sure did. Yep.
which is a bit of a bummer.
Yep.
Sif, like I think like Sif outperformed my Loki
Okay.
this game,
Okay.
but I also played that team freaking 7 or 8 times this weekend.
Oh, the squad. Yeah.
And this
Okay.
squad was just decimating
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
And
okay.
Obviously, Namor was the most taken model in the event.
Yes. Yeah. And the
Loki 1 destroys Namor. It's like an absolute clown
Oh
fiesta.
yeah, Trickster real good there for sure.
Okay, it's even better
Go
than
ahead.
that.
Go
So
ahead.
basically, my last round in the GT on Friday,
Okay.
my opponent's playing Shield.
Yep.
Namor always you're showing like Asgard and shit. So Namor's gonna safe grab something.
Totally.
It's usually like virus, alien ship, whatever.
Yep.
Namor safe grabs backs up. You just double walk Loki and put him in range for Namor. He now just can't charge you. So and then if he walks and attacks your Loki, you trickster him.
Yeah.
He freaking can't do anything.
Great.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and then oftentimes he'll just get spike on the healthy side, and then you can commit cards and like trickster to keep him alive on the injured side, and
Yeah.
just the hex aura just decimates
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's like Thor and Jane do so much work that if Bill and Loki just like muck the game up, it's usually fine.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely got to see your Loki pop the fuck off the previous game.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He was that Trickster blowout.
Oh
was-
my god! I was like, this can't be actually happening.
Oh, it's so brutal. I saw the sisters like put the 3-stick down and put them in like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, "There's no way he's doing this." He's
Yeah.
like, I scalpel Dark Rain. I'm like, wait, what's happening? It's like Death Decree. I'm like, oh my, this is like the easiest trickster of my
I'm
life.
impressed you could keep a
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
face while
Yeah.
he was doing that. So in this game, what do you think you should have done differently?
So I talked with Eric at the end of it. Towards the very end, he thinks I should have, instead of my Thor going into the Sif who's in the backline with the 2 viruses, he thinks I should have tried to KO his Jane.
Okay.
I think
Yep.
I forgot that Odin's was gone.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I was expecting to have to burn through Odin's,
Yep.
and I didn't like my odds there.
Okay.
Odin's was gone, so that's just like a fatigue error.
Yeah.
Um,
Long weekend, long day,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah. So, but also, I think I was happy with my play otherwise.
Okay.
My Thor, I loved my Thor 2 opening into his Thor 2.
Yes.
Like when they both flipped,
Okay.
and I was like, I have priority. I have enough power to do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I'm like gonna rip the spender. Exactly what I did on the stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
That line is great.
Yeah.
All I needed to do was convert 2 damage on the builder and then throw the size 3 at him.
Yep.
And he's like, surely dead.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
I mean, Eric thought he was dead too.
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So I like that's just the mirror, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know.
And then my Jane blocked nothing on like a couple dodges and just splat. So
yeah.
Otherwise, I was like mostly happy with how I played.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's a very close
Yeah.
game. It's a very well played
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean? No obvious blunders that I saw, at
Yeah.
least. But just, when you're talking about like these, especially like finals games, there's just so many little micro decisions you make, and just like adjusting the spikes is one thing, but even adjusting to like slight over performances versus
Yeah,
underperformances
for
of
sure.
dice.
That's Marvel,
It's fucking
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fucking hard.
Yeah. I haven't slept super great this weekend. So
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah, that won't help.
What it is. Yeah, and then also his Jane was just better than mine.
Yeah, totally.
And that's
Yeah.
just like his recal paid off and mine didn't.
Yes, yeah. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I've been tracking it over the stream games. There's been a lot of recals. Very popular card right now. Every other recal has been great. We've had like a perfect pattern of, okay, that was a good recal. The next one's going to be bad.
Cool,
The next
all
one's
right.
good. The next one's going to be
Shit,
bad.
I should have baited his first. Actually, I did. He like went through all of his cards to keep Thor alive.
Yep. So you should.
I felt great. I was like, all the cards are gone. I have like a perfect priority activation as Thor. Like this Thor's just cooked.
Yeah,
It just
absolutely.
didn't happen.
Yeah, rough beats.
Yeah.
But hey, congrats on 11-1. Anything else you want to let the people know?
Not really. My list cooks. I like it freaking rules. I definitely played the right thing, and I complete my LVO trifecta. I have a first, second, and third.
Oh
now.
yeah, we don't let people know that. Yeah, I think maybe the first person to have all three.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Greg has a first and third now because he thirded today.
Okay, yeah.
Eric hasn't podiumed, I don't think.
No, I know Vince
And
has
then
a
Vince.
first and a third from the team tournament, but does have a bronze trophy, so it depends.
Oh yeah, no, in invitational strictly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got all three of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like consolation, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being on, man.
Yes,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye, chat.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for the stream as well. Thank you all for stopping by and watching with us. Catch all the VODs on YouTube. Catch our podcast, Alfredo Size Taco Truck, and my Work Protocol podcast. If you want to hear us talk even more about Marvel. Otherwise, come to CarlCon, carlcon.net. Come to Squad Goals, squadgoalsmcp.com.